Imagine you're cruising down a deserted stretch of Interstate 40 late at night. The kind of road that cuts through the heart of America, where the stars overhead feel closer than the nearest town. Your headlights slice through the darkness, and suddenly you spot a figure on the shoulder. A young woman, standing alone, thumb out, looking like she's been waiting forever. You pull over, she climbs in, gives you a soft smile, and tells you her name. But as you drive on, chatting about nothing and everything, you glance over at a stoplight, and she's gone. Vanished. No doors opened, no sound, just an empty seat. And then you notice something left behind, a faded scarf, or maybe a locket with a photo inside. What if that wasn't just a story? What if it happened to you? Stick around, because tonight we're diving into one of the most chilling roadside mysteries that's haunted American highways for generations. You won't believe where this leads. It was a crisp autumn evening in 1987, out on the lonely miles of Route 66 in Oklahoma, where the flatlands stretch out like an endless canvas under a twilight sky. Jack Thompson was behind the wheel of his old Ford pickup, heading home after a long day hauling freight from Tulsa to Amarillo. Jack was your typical Midwestern guy, 40-something, married with 2 kids, the kind who believed in hard work and a cold beer at the end of the shift. The radio was playing some classic country tunes, Johnny Cash crooning about walking the line, and the sun had dipped below the horizon, leaving the world in that hazy blue hour where shadows start to play tricks on your eyes. As Jack rounded a bend near an old abandoned gas station, the kind with rusted pumps and faded signs promising last chance for gas, he spotted her. A young woman, maybe in her early 20s, standing by the roadside with her thumb extended. She wore a light blue dress that fluttered in the breeze, and her hair was tied back in a ponytail, like she'd stepped out of a different era. No backpack, no sign of a breakdown, just her, looking calm but a little lost. Jack hesitated for a second. Picking up hitchhikers wasn't something he did often, especially at night, but something about her tugged at him. She seemed harmless, and the road was empty. He slowed down and rolled to a stop.
"Hey there," he called out, leaning over to pop the passenger door. "Need a lift?" She smiled faintly, her eyes catching the dashboard light. "Yes, please. I'm trying to get to Clinton. It's not too far, is it?" Clinton was about 30 miles up the road, an easy detour for Jack. "Hop in. Name's Jack." "I'm Emily," she said softly as she slid into the seat, her voice carrying a slight southern lilt. She smoothed her dress and stared straight ahead, not saying much at first. Jack figured she was just shy or tired. He turned the radio down a notch and tried to make small talk. "So, what brings you out here this late? Car trouble?" Emily shook her head. "No, just needed to get home. My family's waiting." Jack nodded, glancing at her occasionally in the rearview mirror. She had this ethereal quality, pale skin glowing under the passing streetlights, and she fiddled with a small silver locket around her neck. "Cherish them, Jack. You never know when a moment might be your last." Her words hung in the air like fog, and Jack chuckled nervously to break the tension. "Yeah, wise words. You sound like you've been through something." Emily didn't respond right away. Instead, she gazed out the window at the darkening landscape, where old windmills spun lazily in the distance. As they drove, she started opening up a bit, talking about how she loved the open road, how America's highways were like veins connecting the heart of the country. She mentioned growing up in a small town near here, where folks still waved at strangers, and Friday nights meant high school football under the lights. Jack found himself relaxing, sharing stories of his own. Road trips with his dad back in the 60s, when Route 66 was the lifeline of the nation, buzzing with diners and neon signs.
But as the miles ticked by, something felt off. The air in the cab grew cooler, even with the heater on, and Emily's voice seemed to echo just a little too much. Jack glanced at the clock. They'd been driving for about 20 minutes, and Clinton's lights were twinkling ahead. "Almost there," he said. "Where exactly should I drop you?" "Right at the old white house on Maple Street. The one with the porch swing. My mom will be so relieved." Jack pulled off the interstate and navigated the quiet streets of Clinton, a sleepy town where most folks were already tucked in for the night. He found Maple Street easily enough, an ordinary residential block lined with modest homes, picket fences, and the occasional barking dog. The White House stood out, its paint peeling a bit, the porch light flickering like it needed a new bulb. "Here we are," Jack said, pulling into the driveway. He turned to Emily, but the seat was empty. No sign of her. The door hadn't opened. He hadn't heard a thing. His heart skipped a beat. "Emily?" He leaned over, checking the floor, the back seat. Nothing. Just the faint scent of lavender lingering in the air. Shaken, Jack got out of the truck and walked around the truck, thinking maybe she'd slipped out quietly. But the night was still. No footsteps, no one in sight. That's when he noticed it. On the passenger seat, where she'd been sitting, lay the silver locket. He hadn't seen her take it off. Picking it up with trembling hands, he opened it. Inside was a black and white photo of a young woman who looked exactly like Emily, smiling beside a man in a suit, maybe from the 1950s. What the hell? Jack's mind raced. Had she dropped it? Was this some kind of prank? He stuffed the locket in his pocket and approached the front door of the house, knocking tentatively. An older woman answered, her face lined with years, wearing a robe and slippers. "Can I help you?" "Ma'am, this might sound crazy, but I just gave a ride to a girl named Emily. She said this was her home, but she disappeared, left this behind." He held out the locket. The woman's eyes widened, and she took it with shaky hands. "Oh, my Lord! Emily! That's my daughter!" She invited him inside, leading him to a cozy living room filled with faded photographs. Sitting down, she explained in a voice barely above a whisper. "Emily died 20 years ago, in a car accident right out on Route 66. It was a stormy night. She was hitchhiking home from a dance. A truck hit her. She never made it back." Jack felt the room spin. "That can't be. I talked to her. She was real." The mother nodded sadly. "You're not the first. Every few years, someone shows up at my door with a story like yours. They pick her up near that old gas station, drive her here, and she vanishes. Leaves something behind. A scarf, a hairpin, now this locket. It's like she's still trying to get home." As Jack sat there, piecing it together, chills ran down his spine. The old gas station? That was the spot where the accident happened, according to newspaper clippings the mother showed him. Yellowed articles from 1967 detailed the tragedy. A young woman killed instantly, her body found by the roadside. No one ever caught the driver who fled the scene. Jack left that night with more questions than answers. He drove home to Amarillo in silence, the radio off, replaying every word Emily had said. "Cherish them. You never know when a moment might be your last." It hit him hard. The next day, he hugged his family a little tighter, called his old man just to check in. But the mystery lingered. Was Emily a ghost, forever wandering America's highways? Or something more, a reminder of the lives cut short on these endless roads? Over the years, similar stories popped up across the country. In California, on the Pacific Coast Highway, drivers reported picking up a hitchhiking girl who vanished at a cliffside overlook, leaving behind a damp shawl that smelled of the sea. In the Appalachians, along Interstate 81, it was a child this time, a boy in overalls who disappeared at an old farmhouse, his cap found on the seat. Always the same pattern, a late-night pickup, casual conversation laced with eerie wisdom, then poof, gone, with a token left as proof. What makes these tales so gripping is how they tap into our shared American spirit, the love of the open road, the sense of adventure, but also the hidden dangers lurking in the shadows. Route 66, once called the Mother Road, carried dreamers westward during the Dust Bowl, but it also claimed countless lives in accidents, forgotten by time. Emily's story, and others like it, feel like echoes of those lost souls, urging us to remember the fragility of life amid our vast landscapes. As the miles blurred by on his way home, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that Emily had chosen him for a reason. Maybe she saw something in him, a man too caught up in the daily grind, forgetting to appreciate the journey. From that night on, he drove slower, savored the sunsets over the plains, and made sure to tell his loved ones how much they meant to him. The locket? He returned it to Emily's mother, but the memory stayed with him, a quiet guardian on every trip. These roadside mysteries remind us that in a country as big as ours, with highways crisscrossing like threads in a tapestry, the past isn't always buried. Sometimes it hitches a ride, whispering lessons we need to hear. So next time you're out there, alone on the interstate, and you see a lone figure in the dark, think twice before you stop. Or maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what you should do. The lesson here is simple yet profound. Life's highways are full of unexpected turns, and we should cherish every moment with those we love because tomorrow isn't promised. Hold your family close, appreciate the small things, and drive safely out there. If this story gave you chills or made you think twice about late-night drives, hit that like button and subscribe for more eerie American tales that blend mystery with a touch of heart. Drop a comment below. Have you ever experienced something unexplained on the road? Share your story. I read every one. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Safe travels.